Good evening, everybody. This is an impromptu live session. So usually I come on Tuesday nights, but um, I'm coming on because I just need to make an announcement and some change as we get ready to start our second season. So that being said, um, I have decided to make some changes, even though we were just starting our second season. So for the past, I guess, month, I found out that I was pregnant yet again. And we had to go back and forth to the doctor. And so Friday, we had to go back for a follow up ultrasound, and we found out that we were having, that I had another miscarriage. This makes miscarriage number 7 for me and my husband. Um, and so um, I think I'm going to kind of take a break from this. So as I started this journey, as I created It's Okay with Tam Tam, it was because I had a lot of issues. I was dealing with the loss of the my first miscarriage. People that have been following me on the show understand that my first miscarriage was the most traumatic. Um, um, so um, Thank you, Shashu. Shashu was actually one of our guests on here who is she has her doctorate, Dr. Taylor. And she is a teacher in our public school system and a phenomenal teacher. And all the kids seem to love her. Um, but so as you know, my first miscarriage was my most traumatic was because I was 15 months pregnant. We just found out, 15 months, sorry, 15 weeks pregnant. Um, just found out the sex of the baby. We were having a girl. Thank you very much to Shashu. Found out we were having a girl, and I was having a lot of pain throughout the pregnancy. And apparently, my fibroids grew in and took over, and she didn't have any room to grow, and her heart stopped. And so I miscarried. The most traumatic part of that was the fact that um, so when I miscarried, she was still in my tummy, and I was scheduled to go into a D and do a DNC. And when I did, my parents were driving in, and as they were coming in, they were coming to. We were staying in an apartment at the time, and as they were getting ready to come in, the baby passed out of my body, and it scared me so much. I ran and I ended up throwing her in the toilet, which was um, very traumatic. And I don't think I'll ever get through that guilt of knowing that I put my baby in the toilet. My husband had to get her out so we can take her to the doctor and do all kind of testing and all that kind of stuff. And they had to do a DNC still. And with that being said, the DNC, I think for my husband was the most traumatic because I end up hemorrhaging and having to go back to the hospital. I had never felt pain like that before in my life. And that was even delivering, having a vaginal birth with my first child. Um, and if I hadn't gone back to the hospital, I probably would not be here. I ended up having to get 2 units of blood, stayed in the hospital for probably about 5 or 6 days. So that's why that one was the most traumatic. But after that, we've had 6 more miscarriages. I don't know what it is. Obviously, me and my husband are very fertile, but we just have difficulties getting past a certain point. So, um, so as I was going through that and dealing with that, going to counseling and things like that, found out there was a lot of other people that have dealt with miscarriages, but people didn't really talk about it. And so as I was talking to other people, it kind of helped me deal with it, and it helped me feel like I can be okay. Um, with the loss. And so I started doing It's Okay with Tam Tam, so people can end up talking about their problems and or issues and how they have dealt with it. A lot of people who deal with stuff with a lot of prayer, a lot of um, uh, therapy, group sessions, just talking to people who have gone through it or having a building a support system, whether it's family, friends, or just outside people. So I have gained a lot of knowledge, and I want to thank all the people that have came on here and who have shared their stories. I thank you again, Shashu came on. She shared her stories about her going through divorce and being single. And we have had Jennifer, who's been on here, and want to thank her. We've had Eric, who's been on here, who is actually the first African American male teacher of the year for the state of Texas, which is something very significant. He was on here talking about the school system and kind of how the issues he's been having, especially before the pandemic and after, during the pandemic and after the pandemic. Talking about that, I've had Liz who came on who was talking about dealing with breast cancer, especially in the middle of a pandemic when financial situations have changed because people getting laid off and dealing with all that. I've had Ashley who talked about going through a divorce and being in a traumatic relationship. So all my guests have been on there. My husband has been on here several times. We talked about, some of our lighter sessions when he's on here is, of course, how we met and things like that. Um, so um yes, I tried to be very transparent with this because I wanted to be sure that I can get this out to somebody and hoping somebody can get a takeaway from this and maybe improve or help them get the strength and get the courage to go get help or go talk to somebody, whether it's a professional or a friend, to help them deal with whatever they're going through. And one of the things, just even talking about this and you just going to counseling, like um, uh, my trauma is my trauma, and I shouldn't be judged on my trauma of, oh, well, that happened a long time ago. You should get over it. Or, well, somebody else has it worse. My trauma is my trauma. And I appreciate everybody that's been on here that has respected my situation as I have respected their situation. And again, I want to thank everybody who has supported me through this journey. Um, but understand you haven't gotten rid of me completely. But it's time for me to let It's Okay with Tam Tam. Time for me to let it go. I think it has served its purpose as long as at least one person has gotten something from this. But who knows down the road what you may hear from me, what I may have going on. But as of now, I want to say again, thank you for all the support, for all the people that have been out there and that have supported me and who have been willing to open and share their lives with me, as well as all the people that have watched us. Again, appreciate it. And remember that it's going to be okay. Just remember to talk through it with somebody, and everybody goes through something. Talk to somebody. You guys, again, thank you for your support. Have a wonderful evening.